'tis the season of the heroes that don't have anything underneath control, but they are trying their best, and I don't think it's gonna go their way. Let's go talk about it. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to Kick Up Flicks. In episodes 3 and 4, I will tell you this right now, it looks good. However, let's look at the foreshadow of the downfall of the heroes. And I don't mean that they're going to take a complete L on this. I just mean that they are going to get hurt pretty badly. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never read the manga at all whatsoever, so all this is kind of new to me. So if you did read the manga, don't spoil it for me, please. Either way, looking at the relationship of Twice and Hawks is a huge indicator of how things are going to go. For example, they built a true bond and friendship. They care about each other. You know, Twice is in this battle, whether if he's good or bad, you know he's naturally good on the inside, but he will follow whoever he feels loyal to. And that is one thing Hawks underestimated in Twice. Now, on top of all of that, Twice's power was one of those powers you had to watch because he could turn the tide of any battle, because he didn't need to be the strongest, he just needed to multiply himself so much that you would feel very much overwhelmed. And it's not like everybody has the power of All Might that can just blast them all away. So do I feel that Twice's death was necessary? Yes, I do, for the simple fact is he was never going to turn on the people that accepted him for who he was initially, no matter how crazy he was, or that he got his team trapped to begin with the first time and now the second time, and they were still, believe it or not, going to accept him no matter what. Now, however, guess what? Hawks got very much distracted by trying to save this one villain that I'm going to leave as a villain, and ran into Dabi. And Dabi literally burnt his wings completely off and all his other, feathers that were flying all over the place, which pretty much left him, unstable when it comes to flying and fighting combat. And now, do I believe that Hawks can beat Dabi in a regular battle if he knows that he's there? Probably, yeah, I do, because I think he moves a lot faster, he's a lot more agile, and all it takes is like one little feather in the right place, and that's it. However, since he got caught off guard once, and then the second time with using his actual name from childhood, it begs to show that who does Dabi know, or how is Dabi connected to Hawks from his childhood, which is a huge thing if you really think about it. Because in episode 4, Hawks said, I could not find any information on you or Shigaraki, so we don't know anything about them or their true identities. In fact, the only true identity that we think we know or have an understanding is that he's related to All Might. But getting back to Twice, do I think that his death was necessary? Oh yes, I do. Why? Because guess what? At the end of the day, he was going to side with the villains and you couldn't change his mind. And on top of that, if he was able to multiply as he wanted, it would have taken the surprise attack and gone the opposite direction, because no one was ready for that type of fight. Now, I'm not saying that they couldn't adapt for that fight, but I'm just saying that they weren't necessarily ready for that kind of fight, because it would have been like all over the place. And it would have allowed a lot of villains to escape for those who necessarily didn't want to stay. So I really do believe the decision to, finish him off in a way was necessary. Now, however, he did use his last breath to make sure he at least saved the people that he cared about, which was very important. Now, what that ended up doing is it potentially gave them enough fuel for vengeance and therefore make their cause more dedicated. Now, the surprising thing about all of this in this situation is about Dabi being a follower of Stain and how he doesn't see Hawks as a hero, which is true from what I believe, only for the simple fact is a true hero necessarily wouldn't have hesitated after he probably failed a couple times of trying to convince someone to change sides. So either way, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that situation. If he got saved, is Hawks not going to be anymore? I'm not too sure if that follows in the manga, but all I know for sure right now is that Hawks is really much injured pretty bad, and he's going to take a few days, maybe a couple weeks to recover from his injuries. Now to move on to my homegirl Mirko. I would look, the whole entire fight with her was literally insane. from beginning until end. I will tell you that much. Now, do I truthfully and honestly believe that she should have done what she did in the beginning of episode 4? No, I do not. Yes, she was fighting her heart out, but she could not hit these no moves no matter how hard she tried. She was hitting air. Air particles were flying all over the place. If you saw it, I know I did. If you see anything that kind of moves that looks like air, that's all she's hitting is air. So I can understand why she said, you know what, I have to go straight for the doctor. Now, you're telling me, as agile, intelligent, experienced as you are, you couldn't have thought of a better way other than beelining straight to go straight for the doctor. Now, granted, they could have cut her off at some point in time, but if you really would have looked at how fast she was going and how fast they were fighting, guess what? Endeavor probably would have been in there at some point in time, but I know she needed to get there at a very specific time. But I will tell you this, she became chopped liver like nothing else. She's coming very close to becoming a very cooked bunny, and that is unfortunate because I really did like her. I don't think she's going to be able to be a hero too much after this because she's really missing a left arm. She only has a right arm, and she's bleeding from like her left side, and then she's missing probably some kind of tendon from the back of her ankle. I mean, I have no idea, but she's just injured to a point where she's no longer feasible in this battle anymore, which also creates a liability because now she's stuck in the area where the advanced no moves are at. And on top of that, they can use her as a person to go for to make an opening to actually strike another hero. And the surprising thing about the high-end no moves for the most part is that they are still sleeping. And what I mean by sleeping is that their powers and full-on abilities are not completely awakened and that they still need time to do what they need to do. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, listen, hold on, wait a minute. You're doing all this, you're fighting Shield, you're fighting Eraser, you're doing all these other crazy things, and then at the same exact time, you're just kind of chilling. You're not worried about living or dying. And then, you know, looking at Endeavor when he came in and did his like surprise attack to, you know, give a chance for, you know, Mirko to do an extra kick or do whatever she needed to do, and he hit that no move in the back of the head. You're telling me you couldn't go full out, I mean full on power, crush that head, decapitate him, do whatever you need to do to make sure that this no move doesn't continue? You didn't do that? Like, why? Why didn't you do it? Tell me why that Mirko can literally, like with her legs, chop this no move's head off, crush it, but someone who has the ability of fire, hellfire of all things, and you can't literally burn it to a crisp. Now, I understand that he's tried to do this before and it's healed, but he just stopped just because I don't know why. I don't know if he was trying to get control of the situation, but whatever the case was, it put, you know, Mirko in a more dangerous position and at the same time everybody else, because that's still that one extra no move that you have to worry about. I don't know why I got so emotional over this one, so excuse me. But either way, it's a good fight so far. You know, laser eye guy, I ain't gonna lie, he ain't gonna make it. Shield hero guy, very inventive. I kind of like his power. I wonder what his shields are made out of. I wish they could have done a little bit explaining on what his shields actually are. I know he can stab somebody with this, so I don't know why he don't do it more, because I would like to see how he controls it. I love to see how he can control multiple shields to, you know, defend everybody in his surrounding area. But the person that's having the biggest problem right now is the one person who technically shouldn't be out there for a very long fight, and that's Eraser. He is noticing a lag in his activated power to when their powers are disabled, and that is not good because that only means that his eyes are getting tired and that pretty soon that the delays are going to get even worse. So I'm not too sure exactly where he's going to sit in the next episode, but I hope he makes it through. Now, going on to the foreshadow of why the heroes are going to pay the toll for, you know, this surprise attack, and that is that this, you know, fight has been against them for a very long time, and the heroes have never really taken true action against any of this, which is, you know, the Liberation Army. The Liberation Army has been trying to do this for about 70 years, and the Doctor, who's been alive for roughly about 120 years, who was the inventor of the singularity point, Well, guess what? He's been fighting and growing on this side, and how he's able to switch quirks around makes me think that originally Shigaraki's quirk wasn't his original quirk, and I believed it belonged to someone else. Now, I could be totally wrong, but either way, we know that for sure that the Doctor has a copy of his own, and that, All for One has the original lifespan. At the same time, we know that All for One only has a copy of his, and now it belongs to Shigaraki. So, this is a very dangerous situation that, apparently Shigaraki can live for a very long, extended amount of time. And on top of that, he can take whatever powers he wants. I have no idea how you're going to really be able to stop him at this point in time, because now he becomes an official threat to everybody. But what I mean by the foreshadow is that the Doctor is literally saying that he's done this so long and there's no stopping it, that you cannot stop what's about to happen. And it's true, because it's not something that people are thinking, oh, it's not possible. All the villains are thinking it is possible, and they have the troops. I mean, what, close to 100,000? I mean, that's hard to stop even in one day. Maybe they might take a dent and hit their, main points to, extend the time for when they can attack. But either way, they have everything that they need. But the problem is that the heroes don't have enough information on everybody. For example, they don't know what's in the basement of the mansion on Team 2. Apparently, with Shigaraki now being awake, I'm pretty sure that beast is going to wake up, and no one's ready for that type of attack, because apparently this guy can destroy mountains for the most part. And I don't know who they have that is that strong, that can literally attack this beast, that can literally take out most of the heroes that are there. So that's where I sit with My Hero Academia. Let me know in the comments where you sit with this whole entire thing too. It's getting very dramatic. Again, if I haven't read the manga, I'm just reminding you of that. So don't spoil it for me. I'm just trying to make theories here or ideas of potentially where, this season's going to end up going. But I'm liking it so far. I love the action. It's going to be fun. Now, I'm not getting into like the drama of everything so far yet, but we'll see where it ends up going for the rest of the heroes and the younger heroes, and how they're going to end up taking what's about to happen. So if you like what I'm doing, subscribe, hit that like button, hit the bell notification so you won't miss anything. And most importantly, don't forget to kick up and not down. I'll see you the next time I post. Peace.